time. Guess what? It's News at 10 past 8 on a Thursday, where I discuss the news of the world and give you my opinion on it. You know you want it. My opinion, that is, obviously, nothing else. That'd be weird. And we are... I'm already gone Boris. Oh no, I've already gone Boris on us. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to get through this week, and we've got the news of the week, which for once doesn't feature Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump texting me to complain that it doesn't feature in the main news of the week. So anyway, yeah. Oh, now I keep having this problem with this camera. It keeps deactivating and reactivating, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Anyway, shall we start the programme? Because that is the only way we can actually do it. Hi T, by the way, hope you're well. Where are we? Have I gone again? No, I'm back. So many things going wrong already. We've only started a blinking show. Mind you, could be worse. Could be Rachel Reeves, but I'm not, thank goodness for that. Rachel from accounts. She did her not a budget on wasn't the autumn a Halloween one not a budget as well, but now she's calling it a budget, but it wasn't a budget, and basically saying that it's not a good budget for the budget because it's a budget, but it's not a budget. But is it a budget? No. Anyway, before she said it, on the 23rd, Rachel from accounts said she's going to cut the size of the government to save money, mainly civil service. And she also admits that hotels will house migrants for years to come. And maybe, some people are saying, some of the houses as well. We've reset again, haven't we? I'm going to turn it off and turn it on. Right, has that worked? Don't know why the camera's resetting. Seems to have a lot of technical issues at the moment. Yeah, we're back on again. So I've turned off my streaming and then turned it back on again. Tuesday the 25th, Rachel's getting ready for the spring statement. How bad will it be? Well, they were saying it was going to be pretty bad. But you say that, and then if it's not as bad, the Tories did this as well. When they were doing some kind of statement or whatever, they'd always kind of leak that it was going to be terrible, and then when it was only shocking, then it was. Can you still hear me when it goes off? Next question. Why are you doing this? Why you keep rethetting? I did an update on this, so maybe that's got something to do with it. Anyway, then we got to the speech. The Chancellor on Wednesday gave this spring statement, just as Trump, not long after, gives a global 25% tariffs on all vehicles. Whilst Rachel was going on about securing Britain's future, and she said fiscal rules were non-negotiable, I meant it, so she meant she's not going to actually change anything, everything's going to be great, and then Trump goes, carpet, like that. Oh, you can still hear me when I freeze, that's okay then, so I can keep talking. It's like a podcast then, isn't it? So I'll just keep resetting it, don't worry. Right then, so what were the main points? Welfare cuts. Rachel Reeves confirmed huge cuts to the welfare budget with the Office of Budget Responsibility, OBR. I'm using OBS. Say it's better than OBR because it's one higher. Saying there's going to be 4.8 billion of savings for the Treasury. But more than 3 million families lose an average of £1,720 in real terms as a result of the cuts. Now Rachel keeps telling us that we are going to be having... My mouse froze as well. that we're going to be having. Actually, I can just click it on that and leave it on that, and then just go. Hang on, we're not. There we go. There we go. I'm back. We're all feeling better off. She says Labour is the party of work. More than 1,000 people a day qualifying for personal independent payment (PIP). It's a waste of the potential and a waste of their future. It's also a waste of our money, because a lot of these people are not eligible. They're just taking the mick, and I agree with that. And one of the things that the Labour government have kept saying, particularly when it was the £300 taking away the winter allowance from the needy elderly, easy for me to say, was basically that people like Elton John and Lord Alan Sugar don't need it, this £300. Well, they don't. So if you're a millionaire, you don't need it. But then since then, they've been sending notifications out to people telling them that they're eligible or should be eligible or at least apply for pension credits. Now, if they're not applying for the pension credits already, then we're saving money on that. But now, instead of £300 a year, they're going to get, if they're successful with the thing, they're going to get more money than they got with the £300 a year, which means it's going to cost the government more money, which means that didn't really work, did it? Anyway, but this could be the same thing. And yeah, there are people who get money who are very, very rich who don't need it, but they still do it anyway. Inflation has eased slightly after a massive dip, but it's still 2.8%. There was no tax rises, which was quite surprising, because we all thought there was going to be some major tax stuff going on. But spending on defence is to rise by 2.5% by April 2027. By international aid cuts and NHS England to be scrapped, with the savings to fund patient care directly. Also trialled a plan to cut civil service costs by 15%, saving 2.2 billion by the end of the decade. I mean, that's not a lot of money for the end of the decade, is it? A 3.25 billion investment brought forward for the new transformation fund to bring down the cost of running governments. The first allocation from the fund is for AI tools to modernise the state. Now, do we need... The problem we've got now is, if we go fully digital, i.e. cashless society, so everything's done online, done on your phones, done whatever, we are open to cyber attack. If you put the NHS and welfare and everything else online exclusively, then it just takes Russia or China to give us viruses on the internet or cut cables or do whatever. Absolutely terrifying. We froze again. Informative and I actually filmed one yesterday. You're not sell my well, I think, but I always hide them in the middle of loads of other things. So I'm doing all the reviews as well. On capital spending, Reeves already announced 100 billion investment in our autumn budget. She will increase capital spending by an average of 2 billion a year to drive the course of our economy. Now they say about defence, 2.5 of GDP, which is going to be good. There's going to be a protected budget of 400 million within the MOD for UK defence innovation, which is basically working on new weapons, etc. 200 million to support nuclear submarine jobs in Barrow and funds military homes and naval ports such as Portsmouth and Plymouth. 2 billion to increase the lending capacity of UK export finance. Kept going on about growth, but everyone's kind of looking, no, you're not doing it. She then said, the world is changing, we can see that, we can feel it. The British people are impatient for change after 14 years of failure, she added. Now, what I'm saying about Rachel Reeves is, she doesn't actually understand what change is. Because if we go to this picture, it's on about, the world's changing fast and we need to change with it. That is a Queen Elizabeth logo on that folder that she took with her. We've got King Charles III now. I mean, changing face and all that kind of thing. I mean, come on, woman. Pull your finger out of your posterior and change your bloody file. Although then you'll get, she's changed the file. It's disrespectful. I'd be furious about that. I've been the king for like 2-3 years and you still not change your files. Scummy, scummy, scummy. I froze again. Don't know what is going on. This update on the OBS has not worked at all. So I'll keep disappearing and then reappearing again, all dead excited like that. What we got here? We got fields given to people who live abroad as long as provided they are in the UK one day. Oh, brilliant! That's great. So yeah, the whole thing is absolute lux, and that's the only way to describe it. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, other news has gone on this week, including the fact I filmed another Razor review, which apparently is news. John Higginbotham will be happy. I've even done a hair clippers review as well. Again, I've got a bit better with my hair clippers, so I've done a review on that. Anyway, Friday the 21st. Chaos at Heathrow Airport after a fire, not anywhere near Heathrow Airport, saw all the electricity cut off at the power station. It was an electricity substation, one of three. For some reason, they couldn't flick a switch. So I had to turn everything off and turn everything back on again. Ironically, that might be the problem here, because my electric had run out. Don't worry, Angela, welcome. There was no planes moving in or out for a considerable length of time. There was lots of planes being diverted, and the spinny thing has been hit by the smelly stuff, because the airlines are now saying there was no need to shut the airport, at least not for that long anyway. All you do is turn things off and turn them back on again. They've had a lot of costs incurred by sending aeroplanes back to where they came from, diverting aeroplanes, finding hotels for people, blah, 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 blah. So it could cost Heathrow Airport millions, if not billions of pounds in compensation. The murderer of Stuart Everett is jailed for life. It was his housemate, and you remember there were body parts found by children. I mean, it's bad enough finding body parts, full stop, but also by children. Absolutely horrendous for them. All over Manchester. It was just a bizarre thing. Anyway, the guy's been sent down for life. Government called for a full investigation over shutdown of Heathrow after the fire at the substation. This was on Saturday the 22nd. The inventor of the grill, the low-fat grill, passes away. George Foreman, the George Foreman grill guy, he invented it. He passed away, aged 76. Saved a lot of people getting obese by his low-fat. All it is a grill that I'll do something that's visual, which is a complete waste of time. Visual, because the camera's not working today. I don't know. Everything else is. I mean, that thing's still spinning around, isn't it? It's still going. It's still happy. Anyway, he invented the grill, which had a slant on it, so the oil drained away from the food. And I had one of them. I used it for a while. I say a while, probably about 2 or 3 years. Then they brought lots of other grills as well. So yeah, the inventor of the George Foreman grill, coincidentally called George Foreman, passed away. Says he also did a bit of boxing. I'm not sure about that. Israel launches airstrikes into Lebanon. It's the biggest since the ceasefire. We use the term loosely. Sunday the 23rd. Mark Carney announces a snap election for Canada. Mark Carney was the former leader of the Bank of England. Seemed like a decent chap. He's now the Prime Minister of Canada. He's been there for a couple of weeks. And he's saying he's doing it because Donald Trump has basically threatened to annex Canada, and even said that Canada isn't a real country, which is moderately offensive, I would have thought, to Canadians, although Canadians and Americans don't like each other. But anyway, yeah, he's having an election, which is, I think he's hoping is going to prove to Trump that they are going to be, remain as a country and basically stick 1 or 2 fingers up at Trump. Separate meetings with Ukraine and Russia in Saudi Arabia, trying to get a peace up and running. Monday, the White House admits that they inadvertently added a journalist to a chat group whilst they were talking about bombing the Houthis in Yemen. In real time, it was a national security, USA national security group. Trump says, I don't know anything about that. He doesn't know day of the week half the time. Tuesday the 25th, Trump attacks the journalist at the group and says that no classified information was given out as he understood it. The guy then produces the complete list of the chat, and there's, surprise, surprise, some information in there which is quite scary. Hi Alan, hope you're well. Isle of Man approve the assisted suicide thing, which I don't agree with at all. Thin end of a wedge. I appreciate, I don't know anyone, and I've never, no one in my family has experienced horrendous, horrible, slow, long deaths. But what I worry about is people like my mother, ironically, who is currently bedbound and occasionally chairbound, and is a bit confused as well. I mean, if this was, say, my granddaughter in 70 years' time, 80 years' time, would they just say, oh, you're costing us too much money, so we're just going to flick the switch? And that's what worries me about it. It's like a thin-ended wedge. It's not going to happen overnight. It's unlikely to happen in my lifetime. But yeah, people like your grandkids or even your children, they could be, their life could be ended because this assisted dying bill, assisted suicide, has basically been turned into something that it wasn't meant to be. So the best thing to do is not have it at all. Anyway, Isle of Man are doing it, and I don't think it's right. As I said then, on Wednesday the 26th, the journalist who was inadvertently added to the WhatsApp group, it wasn't WhatsApp, it was another group, released all the comments, and it's quite damning if you read it all. It's also disrespectful as well to, well, the Houthis, which I don't have a problem with, to be fair, because they're terrorists, but also to Europe as well, and the UK and everyone. It's basically, America's great, everyone else is just sponging off us. The irony. Thursday the 27th, our illustrious Prime Minister, the amazingly great and fantastic Sir Keir Starmer. I'm sorry, I felt a bit sick then. Ooh, I don't feel good. This is a die. No, it's... I said, I wrote about this in the paper months ago when we were talking about it in the government. It went to the House of Commons, and said then, it's all well and good, it's well-meaning, I get that. People don't want to suffer, and they're going to die anyway, and it's just horrendous, it's horrible, and that's a way out for them. But the problem is it not going to go to the stage where, in the future, well, we've got a sister dying, so what we'll do is, when you get to the age of 40, well, you're too old to do anything. There's too many people on the planet, so you'll get killed because everyone dies at 40. It could be 200-300 years ahead. That could be 10 years. I don't know now. It won't be 10 years. But it's just terrifying where that could lead, and it is a very thin end of a very, very, very deep wedge. And like I say, it won't be in any of our lifetimes when all this happens, but we're creating a problem for the future if we allow this to go through. And that's why I completely disagree with it. Like I said, I get the whole reason for it, just completely disagree with it, because it's going to go, down this horrendous route like it did in Canada, where people with mental health issues were basically told, well, you might as well top yourself then, or whatever. It's just, no, it's just not right. Anyway, Thursday, today, the Prime Minister says Europe is mobilising in order to help protect the peace in Ukraine once it's got, including putting German and British troops in Ukraine as peacekeepers. Rachel Reeves says she's not complacent. She's not complacent. Tell you what, I'm not. Oh, well, maybe she should have said, instead of Reeves saying she's not complacent, maybe she should have replaced that with competent. Rachel Reeves not competent. Yeah, that sounds better. Because I'm not complacent with this government. I'm not complacent where they're going. It's going to be good. I don't think any of this is great. I mean, I slagged off the Tories on a regular basis, and rightly so, in my opinion, because they were fools as well. But this just seems to be on a whole new level, and it is slightly terrifying where we are finding ourselves with the situation of the finances of the country and the way it's going and the way they're picking on people. yeah, you want to stop people getting pip who don't deserve it. Well, I don't have a problem with that. But they use a sledgehammer to crack a nut, and there are going to be people who bloody well deserve it and need it and will survive off it because they have pip. And if that gets taken away, never mind assisted suicide, will the suicide rates go up? Will people get more depressed? Will crime increase because people are desperate for food, so they go do more shoplifting or start dealing in drugs? Do they end up being druggies? Do they end up, alcoholics or whatever? It's just, I don't know, I just don't get it. I mean, yeah, we all know people who are literally sponging off the state, and they're just screwing the government and the taxpayers for everything they can. And they've got no intention of working, and blah, 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 blah. And then the people who need to be stopped, but you don't use a sledgehammer, you target them people. And it's not like the people who work in the job centres don't know who these people are. It's just a joke at the minute. British Steel, which is not owned by anyone British anymore, says it can't survive without electric arc furnaces. Now, we covered this last year. There was one in, where was it, down south somewhere, and they shut the furnace down to put a arc furnace in. Now, it's all well and good because apparently it's more environmentally friendly because it doesn't use coal or oil or anything else, so it's better in that respect. But you don't need as many people, so thousands of people have lost their jobs from the steelworks, and now they're on about doing it up north as well. So shutting down the steelworks and doing all this. But then you've got Trump, who's put all these tariffs on steel going into America, and apparently America, weirdly, is one of our top exports for steel and cars, and he's putting tariffs on both, which is going to affect our economy as well. So I don't really see the point. What we should do is make steel for ourselves, not import steel from China or America, and just be self-sufficient. We rely too much on countries we shouldn't be relying on. China and Russia for power and things like that, definitely wrong. Breaking news, at least 5 people have been stabbed in Amsterdam, in the city centre. It literally broke whilst I was getting ready for tonight. And a tourist submarine sinks in Egypt, at least 6 people dead. And I'm like, what? A tourist submarine? So, now, we all remember a couple of years ago it is now, I think, the mini submarine that looked like an oil drum with a window at one end that was going down to look at the Titanic wreck that imploded, unsurprisingly, tragically killing a number of people. If you're aware of that story, why would you get on a submarine that's for tourists? Now, sometime later, and I think I've showed it in the picture section, there was a submarine that, I don't know if it's this submarine or not, but it was a submarine, and I don't know whether it had been built or whether it was, whatever it was, but it looked like something like the Nautilus from the Leagues Under the Sea thing. And there was like massive domed windows everywhere and chairs, and there's a bar, and it's all open and it's all glass and everything, and you're like, that can't be safe. There's a reason why submarines don't have windows. You know what that is? It's because glass is crap. Even thick glass, that kind of thing. Going down, going up again, puts immense pressure, I'm not an engineer, immense pressure pushing on the glass, and the air inside is pushing out, so the glass will be bending and break. It doesn't matter how thick the glass is, it's going to do that. And what happens is, over time, that would weaken, and then eventually it'll just give in without any warning. And yeah, it's just Titan, yeah, the Titan, the submarine, submersible, and it's just horrible to think that people have gone on this trip. You wouldn't have got me down there in a million years. People have gone on this trip in a submarine to look at the reef and the corals and everything, and something's gone catastrophically wrong. Yeah, just horrible. Anyway, we'll find out more and probably talk about it next week. Angela, I would never go into a submarine ever. Well, if I weren't going into a submarine, I'd only go into a military submarine, and it wouldn't be a Russian one, because remember what happened to the Kursk. That wasn't great, was it? Oh, this is still moving. It looks like we've figured out how to keep the picture moving. I don't know what it was, but anyway, we're still going, so we'll keep that on. Anyway, that's it for that kind of news. So now let's have a look at the news that makes me go, like that. News that makes me laugh. And here we go. Paddy McGuinness. He says that he wouldn't be allowed to do, what was it called? Take Me Out again or now, because it would offend the snowflakes. I'm not a snowflake, but I was offended by that programme, but just because he was on it. No likey, no lighty. Or whatever it was. Oh, just couldn't stand him. He seems to be very good at destroying TV shows, doesn't he? He's done Question of Sport, killed it off. He's done Top Gear, killed it off. He's currently doing Inside the Factory, he'll kill that off. But yeah, the guy's an absolute blob. He's a snowflake. Except when it suits him, obviously. Meanwhile, you're doing Top Gear, he did. I mean, he was better than Chris Evans. Well, you know, that's a low bar, isn't it? Oh, PC's making funny noises. Oh no, I went froze. I thought I'd froze then. Now this is embarrassing, isn't it? When a kid's asked to draw a picture of his family, this child's drawn a picture saying, "My mum likes drinking wine." I changed my password to incorrect, so whenever I forget what it is, the computer will say, "Your password is incorrect." Genius. I mean, a lot of people use the word password for password, or 123, or 1234, or 4321, or 246810, or whatever. His wife done the right thing and left him. Yeah, definitely. Back in Australia, the ACCC hands down a year-long report criticising Australian supermarkets. Now, Woolworths, not related to our Woolworths, and Coles are among the most profitable in the world, and there was no end in sight of the dominance of Woolworths and Coles. The Australian Competition and Customer Commission has found in a niggly way to report. In a 400-page review, the customer watchdog found grocery prices had jumped 24% in 5 years and criticised supermarkets for not passing on savings to the customers. So basically, in the 5 years since COVID, supermarkets in Australia have put the prices up of food by up to 25%. That's an average. So some will have gone up 50%, some won't have gone up at all, so it averages out about 25%. And they've been caught out, and they've been called out for it, and they're possibly going to get fines for it as well, and told to drop the prices, because a lot of foodstuffs have come down in price. Meanwhile, in the UK, prices are going up all the time, and well, no one seems to do anything about it. I mean, people do say that we need someone in government, or someone running the government, who's a bit like Donald Trump. Well, there's only one person who's a bit like Donald Trump who would run the government, and I do a lot of memes with Keir Starmer and his muplets. But yeah, let's keep it the level playing field. Nigel Farage, tit. He's a one-trick pony, and it terrifies me. But then again, do we need a few years of someone like Farage in power just to sort everything out and maybe teach the Tories and Labour and Lib Dems what people actually want? We need Rupert Lowe as MP. Oh, is that the guy who left? Got kicked out. To be fair, I don't know much about that. You'll have to let me know, by the way, if I froze again, because I can't see my screen. But yeah, then you got Donald Trump. So there's a cartoon here of Donald Trump with JD Vance, with the famous chat in the White House with Vladimir Zelensky with 2 Ys, and the puppet master controlling Donald Trump is, according to this, Vladimir Putin. Who knew? Meanwhile, there's a doctor here who's presumably good at helping people stay alive. It's Dr. B.G. B.G. B.G.'s. Whether you're a mother or whether you're a brother, you're staying alive. Staying alive. One of my favourite comedians, certainly, well, favourite panellists on, celebrity panellists on TV shows and things like that, was the late great Sean Locke. And one of his favourite sayings was, "That's a challenging wank," when he was talking about something pretty disgusting or whatever. And just the way he said it, it was just very, very funny indeed. Well, Ladybird have been thinking, hang on a minute, we can make money out of this. So ladies and gentlemen, the Ladybird Book of Challenging Wanks. Now that's what I call British banter. And there's a picture there of Diana Westbrook. It's more tragedy than anything else, but there's a picture there as well of Madonna, an American singer-songwriter, record producer and actress, commonly known as Madge, just for no reason whatsoever. And then we've got Keith Starmer and Rachel Reeves, and they are mindless. Now, it does say mindless, look. You have to look at that a little bit to actually realise that it is. It's actually they took the mickey. I like it. I wonder if it's only Lee who drives. Hang on. I wonder if it's Lee who doesn't drive carefully through this hamlet. Seems unfair to single him out. And there's a sign there that just says Lee, and then underneath, "Please drive carefully through our hamlet." It's a bit personal, isn't it? And now we've got ants and a taller ant. Two drawings, a little ant and a taller ant. No, get me caught. Now, only people of a certain age will remember these very scary safety advertisements that they did, including "Do not swim in ponds and canals," and there was like death stood there. "I will get you if you swim in cold water," and all that kind of stuff. And Cream Cross crowed and Charlie says. Well, there was also ones with children playing on railway lines getting electrocuted, and one where a child tries to retrieve, I can't remember, it was a, well, we'll find out now actually, and from a substation, it's frisbee. So he climbed into the substation and he got fried alive, basically telling children in the 1970s, do not go into substations and, stay alive, basically. I mean, that was as woke as it got. Don't do something completely stupid. Anyway, this is a Mickey take of obviously what went on at Heathrow. Not only did Jimmy fail to get his frisbee back from the substation, he grounded every plane at Heathrow Airport. Which I think, whoever come up with that again, absolute genius. I can't come up with these things. They're just brilliant. I love them. A woman had an allergic reaction of having sex with a boyfriend. Her boyfriend ate Brazil nuts before sex, and traces of Brazil nuts in his semen triggered her nut allergy. Well, call me old-fashioned, but he's shoving his Brazil nuts in the wrong hole. Disney's Snow White underperforms, that's an understatement, at the box office, becoming one of the company's worst performing films in recent years. The movie gamered only 3.5 million in previews on Thursday across the US, and is projected to earn between 45 and 55 million during its opening weekend. With a budget of 240 million, the film has been marred by controversies surrounding Rachel Ziegler's remarks in the leading up to its release. Following its release, the film received a low 2.4 out of 10 rating on IMDb and 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. You'll be pleased to hear since then it's gone even lower, which seems fair because that woman was, when she did the interviews about being all self-righteous and being the Snow White and everything, yeah, she's as mad as Hattie. She's as mad as what was he called? Useless, the Scottish leader for a while. She's completely bonkers. You know, everyone's too white, and we need more. No, well, yeah. Hopefully, that's ended her career anyway. And as it said there, they didn't even spare the bird. That was replaced by a big black rook or something. In the 1980s, A&W, which is a fast food outlet, launched a third pounder to compete with a quarter pounder, but it flopped because most Americans thought a third was smaller than a quarter. I didn't think about that because some of you might think, well, it is, isn't it? So you have a whole one, you have half, you have a third, and then you have a quarter. So yeah, only in America. I say only in America. It's not only in America. It is only in America. But no, I mean, it's hilarious. Meanwhile, seen in a charity shop, someone's added some letters to the jars that you put sugar, coffee and tea in. So they've put 3 letters in front of tea, spells a rude word. They put F and U in front of coffee, so it says for coffee. And then they put tits after sugar, so it says sugar tits. And then we've got come tea as well. But we won't go down that one because that's just rude. Again, genius. Whoever's done this one. Nissans are fast, BMWs are faster, but Teslas are definitely the fascist. And someone's done up the logo as a swastika. Genius again, absolutely. Meanwhile, we saw who's pulling the strings for President Trump earlier on. He's Keir Starmer, taken for walkies by his owner, and he's one of the guys from Saudi Arabia who's got him in a sharp suit on his hands and knees with a dog collar on, being walked around with a lead. And that's basically, yeah, we're being told what to do by different countries, and it is shockingly bad. So I've lost my place, there we go. A painting for the Psygnosis game Obliterator, in which a player must destroy a spaceship that is approaching Earth. This was the cover art from Psygnosis for many games, and all their games are absolutely stunningly good. This is available to buy for 72 by 48 inches, and the artwork, I mean, bear in mind this was the 80s. The artwork was absolutely the dog's danglies, stunning stuff. And all the Psygnosis covers were brilliant, and the games were good as well. And then they got bought out by Sony, become Sony Liverpool, just did a few wipeouts, and then got shut down. And that was the end of them. There's a massive amount of money that seems to have vanished. Tesla is missing a mysterious $1,400,000,000 from its books, and experts are baffled. Yeah, that's because everyone's running away from Teslas. Now, are you the child in the family that would do strange things? Alright. Every family has that one kid. So we've got 2 young boys, could be twins, I'm not sure, and they're holding a fish each. And then there's a third boy who's a lot smaller, who's basically got the fish head in his mouth, and he's just stood there looking a bit confused. You're supposed to cook it first, mate. Meanwhile, I've got American friends visiting, so I thought I'd treat them to an expensive delicacy they can't afford back home. And basically, it's some Tesco free-range eggs. Because apparently, in America, for some bizarre reason, egg prices have literally gone insane. Meanwhile, cosplay. Some cosplays are brilliant, some cosplays are really bad, some cosplays are pervy. I think grown men who wear skin-tight Spider-Man suits and then pose with pictures with little children are a little bit weird in the head, but some cosplayers nail it. Have you ever seen the film Carrie? What's the most iconic scene in the film Carrie? the blood. And look at that. She's got a tub of blood above her head, and then she's covered in. It's just brilliant, really, really good. I mean, well, it fits in a Comic Con, I don't know, but I mean, the ingenuity of that is superb. Hiya, Gaming Demon. Hope you're good. Not doing any gaming at the minute. We're talking about stuff. Talking of blood and food, and pig's blood it was, wasn't it? Well, more pig. If I can't have her, no one will. And that's Kermit the Frog, who's basically cooking up a pork, well, everything. We've got bacon, we've got chops, we've got a belly roast by the looks of things. And yeah, if I can't have her, no one will have her. I wonder who he's talking about. Hey-ya! Talking of Kermit the Frog. I see you've come as Kermit, the King Frog. The other Muppets are in number 10. And this is obviously not real. It's not what the policeman said, but it's the policeman stood outside number 10 Downing Street looking at Angela Rayner, who's got this rather bizarre, weird green jacket and trousers on. And she does look a lot like Kermit the Frog. But last week, you remember, we had a frog that looked like Kermit the Frog. That wasn't Kermit the Frog, it was in fact a frog. It's going very well, thank you very much, Gaming Demon. President Trump calls for removal of his portrait at the Colorado State Capitol. And that is a picture of Donald Trump. And he's right. Doesn't look anything like him. It's not orange enough. But he does say, nobody likes a bad picture or painting of themselves. But the one in Colorado, in the state's capital, put by the governor, along with other presidents, was purposely distorted to a level that I can't even I, perhaps, have never seen before. The artist also did President Obama, and he looks wonderful. But the one of me is truly the worst. She must have lost her talent as she got older. In any event, I would much prefer not having a picture than having this one. But many people from Colorado have called and written to complain. In fact, they are actually angry about it. I am speaking on their behalf to the radical left governor, who is extremely weak on crime. In particular with respect to Trena Garner, which practically took over Aurora. Don't worry, we saved it. To take it down. You should be ashamed of yourself. What? Trump is insane. I mean, there are some bad pictures, it has to be said, and it's not the best. If anything, I'd say that was flattering to the man baby. But anyway, when you get blackout drunk, the brain temporarily loses the ability to create memories, which is why you don't remember anything. I think people just make that up. I've not been flat out drunk a lot, but I have been extremely, very, very, very drunk indeed, deliriously drunk, and I remember everything I did. I remember walking home or whatever. I remember who I talked to, and I remember all that kind of thing. But apparently, too much alcohol affects your short-term memory. So yeah, be warned. Yeah, I don't get it either. Oh, back to Snow White. Good news. It's now got 2 out of 10 with 52,000 ratings. It's one of Disney's worst ever rated movies. I mean, what could be possibly worse than that? The new Snow White. I wonder if they'll put it on Disney Plus or whether they'll just quietly shuffle away with it. A study shows that it's better to eat 2 burgers than 1 with fries. It can be healthier to eat 2 burgers instead of 1 with fries because burgers generally have more protein and fewer refined carbs than fries. While both meals have similar calorie counts, the fries are high in unhealthy fats and simple carbohydrates, which can spike blood sugar and offer little nutritional value. In contrast, the extra burger provides more protein, which helps with statency and muscle maintenance. So choosing 2 burgers over 1 with fries may offer better nutritional balance and keep you fuller for longer. What do? When I do my food reviews, I always buy 2 burgers and then stick them together, so I reduce the amount of carbs with the bread as well. But yeah, I've always kind of gone for 2 burgers. The only problem is it costs a lot more. So nowadays burgers are about £5 each, aren't they, if not more? So you're looking at £10 for 2 burgers rather than a meal deal. But yeah, I agree completely that 2 burgers is better than burgers and fries. Health and safety seems to have gone awry here. What do you mean by the carpet is injuring people? This is a stairs carpet in a municipal building somewhere. Yeah. I can imagine if you've had a few drinks and you're a bit blind drunk, you wouldn't remember going on them stairs because you'd be dead by the time you got to the bottom of it. I see a burger review coming on. There may well be a burger review coming now the nights are getting lighter again. Rachel from account spotted meeting with a business advisor earlier today, and it's a cheapskate Mr. Blobby. Very cheapskate Mr. Blobby. Again, Tesla. And again, absolute genius with this meme. Elton's not going to like this. And basically they've turned the T upside down and put 2 little eyes on it. So it looks like the KKK. I was asking for advice. So there's a picture here of a bug. And the question is, what is this? So someone's replied, an insect. And then they've replied, what type? And the answerer has said, a green one, because it is green. And then the questioner said, yes, but what's its name? And the reply, Dave. I had a family of them living on my windowsill for a while. Strange set of rules. York Museums Trust Museum Gardens. Please do not cycle in the gardens. You may injure a young person, a young child or elderly person. So you can't, because of the grammar, you can't cycle but you can injure people. It's a bit messed up. It basically says, please do not cycle in the gardens. And then there's no full stop or anything. And then it says, you may injure a young child or elderly person. So we're allowed to do that. You can't cycle, but we can injure people. Superb. Any person except players caught collecting golf balls on this course will be prosecuted and have their balls removed. I mean, it's stern punishment, isn't it? They won't be doing that again in a hurry. Talking of balls. Oh, it's not Ed Balls. It's Keir Starmer is disappointed at Lord Ali's latest clothing donation, and he's wearing the his name was on my tip of my tongue then. Its name, their name. Oh, I can't even be asked. Move on. During a league tournament in 1937, legendary goalkeeper Sam Bartram played for nearly 10 minutes alone on the field, not realising the game had been abandoned due to the severe fog. Sam Smith, that was it. That's what I was trying to think of. So he was stood there for 10 minutes waiting for someone to come. Now this is a meme, Mickey taking the situation with the journalist we were talking about earlier, who was put into a very important, very secret chat group, and it's basically when you're accidentally included in a war plan group chat, and it's basically Big Bird from Sesame Street who's been photoshopped behind Darth Vader and a group of his goons walking down a corridor in the Death Star. But yeah, pretty much the same thing. Meanwhile, kid asks his dad, "Dad, where is Yemen?" He replies, "Why?" "My group chat says we strike at midnight." So the little kid who's in the group chat as well, obviously it's a joke, but it made me chuckle. Not sure what tickets you need? No problem, you can now just tap and go all day on the bus for no more than £5. This is the B network. So basically now, if you get your phone or your card and you get on a bus, you just tap it on the console, and you don't get a ticket, and it takes £2 off your card. You then get to wherever you're going, you then get on another bus because you want to go somewhere else, you tap it again, it takes another £2 off your card. So happy days. Then you get on another bus, maybe to get back to where the first bus dropped you off because you're on your way back home now, so you tap it again, it takes £1 off. So now you've paid £5 for 3 buses. You then get on another bus to get back home, you tap it again, and it doesn't charge you anything because it's a maximum £5. So I can see where they're coming from, but I also see that they're monitoring where you're going. Whereas if you ask for a £5 ticket, you can go anywhere you want with that £5 ticket. You can still do that. You can still pay cash and everything else. But this tapping thing, it's monitoring what you're up to. It's all about surveillance. Don't get me wrong. They can monitor where this phone is at all times as well. I know that, but it's just very strange. But they can't monitor a credit card or debit card until you start. Yeah, so there you go. You see, it's all about the spying. Not in a good way. Someone's bought a hat. Buy a man eat fish he day. Teach fish man to a lifetime. It's all the right words, but not necessarily in the right order. Michael Sheen claims he saw UFO in his Welsh hometown after phalanx of lights. Hollywood actor Michael Sheen believes he once had an encounter with a UFO after becoming transfixed with lights in his hometown of Port Talbot when he was just a kid. It's a sweet story, isn't it? ADHD influencer explains why she needs benefits for taxis and takeaways. Alina is a mental health influencer with over 100,000 followers on TikTok who explain why certain disability benefits are so important to people diagnosed with autism and ADHD. So basically, she's earning money from, if she's got 100,000 subscribers, she's earning money from that, but she still wants to screw the government for money. She's paying tax on the money she's earning from her TikTok and all that kind of thing. Maybe we should do it for that. Beeping noise. I can't hear a beeping noise. No, can't hear a beeping noise. A UK fashion retailer falls into liquidation with 35 high street stores to close. Select Fashion has been steadily shutting down its shops since January. Well, to be fair, it shut the one in Wigan down as well. And will shut its remaining 35 this week in a move that highlights the ongoing struggle facing UK retailers. There's a lot of shops shutting in the next few weeks, and a lot of people losing their jobs and having their hours cut as well. A traveller boy, we're not allowed to call them gypsies anymore, caught driving stolen BMW pulling a caravan, and he's now on the run. Police are on a manhunt for Britain's most wanted preteen after a 12-year-old allegedly stole a 4x4 BMW with a caravan attached to it and took it on a 40-mile long joyride trip. And the police couldn't catch a 12-year-old. God, them guys couldn't even catch a bloody cold, could they? Woman strangled to death by mass murderer husband during conjugal visit. Stephanie Dowell, 62, was visiting her husband David Brynson, 54, at Mule Creek State Prison in California when the mass murderer allegedly attacked and strangled her. Conjugal, does that mean you can go and have sex with your husband while they're in prison? Well, no, you're in prison. You don't have sex when you're in prison. Most Brits will eat food dropped on the floor but stick to the 6-second rule. No. The 6-second rule is almost the law for many hungry Brits who have ever dropped some chips, crisps, or even a box of chicken nuggets from a well-known fast food chain. No. I mean, for a start, that sausage roll doesn't look cooked. But anyway, it's beside the point. Food on the floor is food in the bin. Who the hell picks up food off the floor and eats it, thinking it'll be alright, 6-second rule? Microorganisms do not need an hour to climb onto your food. I mean, they're called micro for a reason. A nanosecond is long enough for a microorganism to get on your food if you drop it on the floor. Never mind who's walked on that floor, what they've walked in before they've walked on that floor. Even if it's in your own house, do you clean your floor every 30 seconds? Do you scrub your feet, your shoes every time you walk into your house? You could have stood in dog muck, bird muck. You could have squashed a snail or a slug. You could have stood in some, I don't know, rotting milkshake on the way home or whatever, and you walked it through your house, not noticed, drop your food on the floor, and suddenly you've got listeria. Who the hell eats food when it's been on the floor? Apparently most Brits well, I with immediate effect, no longer wish to be known as British, because I would never do that. It's disgusting. Long lost advanced civilization built vast underground city beneath the pyramids. Allegedly, a city has been discovered underneath the Giza pyramids, and it's over tens of thousands of years older than the pyramids themselves. Scientists have now claimed following a huge breakthrough. So the pyramids are thousands of years old, and these are tens of thousands of years older. So why would the Egyptians build pyramids over an underground city? How would you power an underground city without the pyramids? Because I saw a clip on Gogglebox of Bradley Walsh, the renowned Egyptologist. Oh, hey up, what's going on? Have I froze again? No, we're okay, we're still going. The well-known Egyptologist, and he said that he thinks that the pyramids are actually giant batteries to power things. I mean, what? They didn't have electric light bulbs. They didn't have cookers. They didn't have electric cars. Tesla hadn't been born. Why would they have electric things? Why would they need electricity? The guy's an absolute fool. Stick to your daytime show. I don't even watch him on Gladiators. But yeah, the pyramids are built on an entire civilization that's tens of thousands of years old, and they've only just discovered it now. Well, surely the pyramids would have crushed it and fallen into whatever it was. Anyway, maybe the aliens filled it all in with concrete. You know, the aliens who built the pyramids. Maybe that's it. Maybe the pyramids were charging points because the aliens had electric spaceships. It's suddenly all making sense. Yeah, I've solved it. There you go, Bradders, you can have that one. Ugh. EA F1 25 release date leaks as Lewis Hamilton confirmed as iconic cover star. Jesus. EA's Formula 1 series is back for 2025, and while the company has revealed the new Ferrari star Lewis Hamilton will grace the cover of the iconic edition, it may also have confirmed the release date early. Now, F1 is one of my only sports that I follow. Regular viewers will know that, and I've been doing a couple of races following the F1 season so far. So I've done, I did China as, because it's last year's edition, so it's last year's drivers, Perez, and I did a lot better than Perez ever did. And yeah, it's good that Yuki Tsunoda has now taken the place of Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson should not have been put in Red Bull. He should have been put in the secondary team, the AlphaTauri, which is now Racing Bulls. And Yuki, I think, is more than earned enough to get actually into the Red Bull seat. Whether he does well there or not is another thing, but it would be amazing if he wins the championship this year. That would be hilarious, especially when he misses the first two races. I bet you have a Lewis Hamilton poster in your bedroom. Alan? I don't like falling out with people. I mean, I've got a, to be fair, got a Lewis Hamilton car. I didn't buy it. My daughter bought it for me. She doesn't know my hatred for Lewis Hamilton. And before you say anything, no, it's nothing to do with his skin colour. That's fine. He's a very good racer. I get all that. It's just not a nice man. It's just not nice. I know you don't have to be nice when you're a racer. That's the whole point. But I just don't like him at all. As a human. Brits embrace the 5-second rule in an effort not to waste food. In a study of 2,000 adults, it found 73% would happily eat a piece of food that has fallen on the ground, as long as they can pick it up quickly enough. I can only assume that the 2,000 adults are students in universities, because anyone else would be like, no, it's on the floor, it's dead. And if you drop it down the toilet, don't worry, the rat will eat it. Rat-infested street has rodents jumping out of bins and scuttling up toilets. It's in Glasgow, so don't worry, it's not round here. A group of Glasgow residents are being plagued by an infestation of rats caused, they say, by the lack of bin collection after a flood destroyed homes in the same area. So yeah, the rats are wicking their way into the houses. Lovely. Imagine having a poo and there's a rat there just eating it. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Tragic case here. A man was riding his motorbike in the Guangdong district of China when the road caved in at around 6:30 p.m. local time on Monday, and there was an 18-hour rescue mission to get this guy out. Sadly, he passed away. Basically, a sinkhole is when water erodes underneath usually solid areas that man's built on. Not always, you can do it in the fields as well, but it affects us more when it's, you know, man-made areas. So in this case it's a road. Now the road remains flat because of the strength of the broad building, and everything underneath has been washed away. But then eventually there's a giveaway point and the road collapses and just drops straight down this massive hole. And this is what happened. There's a video of it and you actually see the motorcyclist just careering into the hole. He's got no time to avoid it. There's a car in front of him, like a people carrier, that is actually on it when it collapses, but its rear axle is ripped off as it bounces out, but the cyclist had no chance. And not long after, in the video, once the cyclist has gone in, more falls down, and that would, I assume, it would have been what have got him. There's no warning whatsoever. There's a famous case in South America where a whole block disappeared in a city centre, or no, in a district of a residential area, and it was like a 3-story building just disappeared instantly like that. And then there was a case in America of a small sinkhole opening, and it basically in a bedroom, and it took the bed, the person sleeping in the bed, and the floor, but didn't damage any of the rest of the building. And that person was never found as well. So sinkholes are, you know, very dangerous things, and they're unpredictable as well. Of course, people are blaming global warming. I think it's more a case of man building where maybe we shouldn't be building, or have better monitoring or stuff like that. Sports Direct opened 350 new stores in huge retail expansion, so bucking the trend. Mike Ashley-owned Sports Direct is expanding its huge portfolio of stores, which already includes more than 500 in the United Kingdom, with the Fraser Group intent on taking hold of more countries. So it's not just, we're not talking UK here, we're talking other parts of the world. How exciting that you can have a Sports Direct in France. UFO sightings across the country, across the world, but it may all be thanks to Elon Musk. Confused Brits shared several pictures of spinning glowing orbs on the British night sky, as the answer may be related to a man who seems almost omnipresent at the moment, Elon Musk. Apparently, Elon Musk sent a secret satellite for the government up into space, and for some reason it created this swirl which was seen from pretty much all over the planet. It got reported in Australia, reported in America, reported in Europe. But I suppose once you get to a certain height, then the whole world can pretty much see what is going on up there in that there space. Innit? Space, we're in space. Yeah, we're in space, we're in space. Meanwhile, a woman ran naked screaming, "I speak all languages" through the airport. The woman is seen running around naked, throwing what appears to be a phone at monitors and abusing staff in the 2-minute clip from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Seems her flight was cancelled to Heathrow due to a fire. So she thought, well, I'll just show everyone that I can speak loads of languages, and if I strip naked, then obviously I haven't got anything written on my body, so you know I can naturally speak in any language, and I haven't got a book or anything. So I think it was a wise thing to do, and I may follow in the footsteps of that person one day. I won't follow in the footsteps of that person one day. Ronaldo playable character in Street Fighter rival, as fans fume game is ruined. Cristiano Ronaldo divides opinions of football fans, and now both lovers and haters will be happy to hear is about to be added to the fighting arcade game Fatal Fury. I mean, you know, whenever I think of the self-centered, self-righteous multimillionaire, I always think of him as being a fighter. I mean, the irony is, if they kick him on the shin, he'll probably roll over on the floor for about a week. So he's not going to be the strongest fighter ever, is he? And remember when he was playing? I remember he was playing for someone and he scored a goal and he lifted his top up like that, and he had one of them 6-pack things that he was selling at the time on while he was playing football. I'm like, well, that can't be legal, can it? Or safe. So yeah, no, he's a self-righteous arse wipe, allegedly. Watch as big cat prowls UK town in dead of night as beast of bucks fears grow. The beast of bucks may have been caught on camera prowling around houses in the dead of night as the legend of a puma-sized creature in the wilds of Buckinghamshire grows. How exciting is that? And that is such a clear picture. Remember, we've got 4K cameras nowadays. Even bloody doorbells could be 4K. The best ever 1980s kids TV theme tunes, from Ulysses to Cheggers Players Pop, 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 Cheggers Players Pop, 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 pop. Biker Grove, Biker Grove, Biker Grove, Biker Grove. No, maybe not. Do 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 do. Okay, that was 60s. But yeah, Ulysses. That was Ulysses. Ulysses. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power. I am He-Man. What was the other one? Thundercats are everywhere. Thundercats are loose. Feel the power, feel the force. Thundercats eat moose. Thunder, 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 thunder cats. Thunder, 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 thunder cats. Hey, I'm a self-righteous, what you would now call woke character, and I'm going to talk patronisingly to your children to tell them to behave themselves at all times, because that's what I do. I'm a patronising cat. Shut up, Lionel. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, famous songs from the things. What was the other one? Top Cat. No, that wasn't the 80s, was it? No. Anyway, let's move on. He's losing the. I've lost the plot. UFOs easily enter controlled US airspace and interfere with nuke capabilities, says an expert. He's always not an expert. He's a whistleblower. No, attention-seeking moron, I think is a better word. Words. Meanwhile, Sky, the not the thing up in the air, the company, announces 2,000 customer service jobs at risk across the UK in transformation. Sky's announced 2,000 customer service jobs could be at risk on the closure of multiple sites. These new proposals will affect 7% of the company's overall workforce. They're also getting rid of the Sky dishes, so they don't need the Sky engineers anymore. The dish engineers anymore, so you won't see as many of the vans around. They're going to more turn into delivery drivers, and yeah, they're basically getting rid of people in the call centres because well, you can do it all online now, can't you? Yeah, unless of course your broadband's broke. Then what do you do? Can't go online then, can you? Sky. A woman on Spain holiday crushed to death by drunk man who fell on top of her. Pensioner Barbara Cahill arrived in Alicante, Spain for some holiday sun, but was instead confronted with a very drunken man who suddenly fell on her, and she died tragically from the complications. I always like to end on a cheery note. Vladimir Putin will die soon, and that is a fact, says Zelensky with 2 Y's. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has highlighted Vladimir Putin's mortality during a recent interview, as he candidly told Jeremy Bourne that the Russian leader will die soon amid health fears. Well, we've been saying that for a while, and apparently he's already dead. These are his fake people who are being him. But yeah, like I say, I always like to end on a cheery note. So Vladimir Putin will be dead soon. But of course, that's not the end. If we put doctors, receptionists in charge of our borders, no bugger would get in. Which was a late entry in tonight's show. Thank you very much, Dee. But not wrong. Absolutely not wrong at all. Which brings us to the exciting chance of some breaking news. So this is the news that's broke whilst I've been talking about the news. I mean, it's just insane, isn't it? All the news and news and more news. And then more news. First news I see there is the Sky 2000 jobs. Angela Rayner's staff to strike over demand they return to the office. Well, yeah, well, you wouldn't want to be in the same room as her, would you? God, no. Coles is closing 27 stores this weekend. Where's Coles? Is that Germany or America? 365 jobs at risk as Morrison's plans to close a number of cafes and counters. Remember, it used to be Market Street. You could always have an actual butcher on the Market Street. That was a big advertising ploy and everything. Now they're getting rid of them. Northern Lights may be found around about the UK at some point tonight. Queen Camilla meets Lorraine Kelly, Susanna Reid and Dermot O'Leary for ITV's 70th anniversary. Bin strike escalates as a councillor quits the union. I assume that's in Scotland. Personal tax allowance Rachel Reeves change could net $1,500 for the poorest, allegedly. Students occupy building at University of Manchester. Students stand with United, cut ties with Israel now. Okay. Supermarket chain closing store this weekend with rival taking it over. Okay then, doesn't say who it is. Breaking news. King is admitted to hospital. So King Charles III is admitted to hospital. I have said that the new £5 notes, £10 notes and coins are a limited run. But this is side effects from his cancer treatment. So the King has been admitted to hospital over side effects from his cancer treatment. Mark Carney responds to new 25% tariff on non-US cars in direct message to Donald Trump. And I must admit, Carney just says it as it is, and I imagine his message would be NHS hospital to slow down NHS hospital too slow to treat doctor's son who died of sepsis. Alright, okay. Reeves risks being forced into tax raids as markets turn against her again. Ukraine-Russia war latest. British military delegation sent to Kyiv to discuss reassurance force. Sadiq Khan launches $10 million investment in London's creative industries. 6 dead, including 2 injured after tourist submarine sinks in Egypt's Red Sea. And then we've got Santander shutting its branches. Britain's next say worst of structural shift to online is over. So they think online has now reached its peak. Legendary singer Johnny Mathis, final performance before retirement. Is he still going? Bahu Debenhams rebranding at risk amid Ashley Row. Major WH Smith's update with 500 shops in doubt. There's a rumour that they're going to get taken over, but the shops will still shut. Labour Minister issues grovelling apology as fury over spring statement deepens. Police drop investigation into raid on Gary Barlow's £6 million mansion. Manchester students are leaving in their droves, but the uni is betting on one big area. So yeah, now what was I looking at there before? Submarine. See, they've got a picture of this submarine. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Obviously not in the state it's in now. It is that submarine I was on about. I'm pretty sure I said at the time. Oh no, it's not. It's a similar one, but yeah, it's just got loads of windows in it. And it's glass. Yeah, it's not as posh as the one, but yeah, I mean, it looks 25 metres underwater. So that's a lot of pressure, isn't it? You can feel that when you go in the baths and you go down the deep end, you can feel the pressure on your chest of the water, and that's just low water. Anyway, that is the breaking news. I'm only pretending. Sorry, I couldn't resist. So, so we got 3 people currently watching. We've had 32 people. ISIS 8. So the views are going up slowly. We've had 4 likes. Big shout out to John Higginbotham, Angela O'Kane, Alan Barton, the Gaming Demon, and T, of course. Huge thanks. All being well, we'll see you again next week for another one. Another one? Another one. Yeah, another one. Until then, I'll be seeing you. Cat's going to come in now, isn't she, when I go? Bye! Oh, she's mad. The cat, obviously.